we were going to take, at that time we had 1,200 horses. We built up to 1,200, and we were going to take all 1,200 6 miles away over to Mud Lake and start the summer grazing. And so, but the 6 miles was through these big 4,000 and 5,000 acre pastures. So we've done all this training in small pastures and in the arena, but we'd never turned them out in pastures that size. So I really didn't know whether the training would hold or not, you know, because we're headed out through those big pastures, and if they don't want to stay behind me, if they want to just scatter, they can do it. They can get away from us. I mean, if they choose to leave, now's their time to go. So I, you know, lost sleep over that night after night thinking, what if the training doesn't work, you know, and what if they just scatter, you know? So we'd have quite a time getting them gathered again. So anyway, but also another factor in that particular move, that winter they brought us a bunch of freshly captured horses, and 60 of the mares were in foal. So mares were having colts pretty often that spring. They were all going to be spring colts. So on the 9th of May, that evening, one of the mares had her colt. So the next morning, we're going to move them the 6 miles over to Mud Lake. Well, can a 10-hour-old, 12-hour-old colt, can he travel 6 miles in a gallop? I'm not thinking so. You know, those little colts are 1 day old, you know, they're spraddle-legged and got a little back about that long and a head about that long and all legs and as cute as can be, you know. They kind of wobble and wander around, but can they make it 6 miles? I don't think so. But I didn't have a way to cut this colt out, you know, so I said, well, let's just go. We got to go over there. And if we have to, we'll drop him back and go back and get him. Well, one other thing I hadn't told you yet is one of my partners, who wasn't a cowboy, he was a doctor, wanted to be there for that special day. That's the first day we're really going to see if all the training works and everything, and he wanted to be there. So I said, well, told him, Ralph, I said, Ralph, you get our old Suburban, our old Chevy Suburban, follow along behind us, but kind of stay back out of sight. So he said, okay. So anyway, open the gate, I'm in the lead, cowboys on both sides, couple in the back, away we go in an easy gallop, and everything's fine. We go about a mile, and I look back, and sure enough, baby colt can't keep up. He's trying. He's just going all he can, and he's wobbling, and he's just trying as hard as he can. And Mama is up with the herd, and then she'll nick her, and then she runs back to him and licks him a little and says, come on, baby, and goes back to the herd, and he's trying, and she wants him to help, you know, to come along, and he just can't. He can't go that far. So I called one of my cowboys, and I said, Russ, go back there and catch that colt, tie him down, signal Ralph to come up, load him in the back of the Suburban, and we'll haul him over to Mud Lake, and we'll let him go when we get there. Okay, good plan. He says, all right. So he does. So I go on a little further, and I look back. He hadn't tied him down. The colt has climbed up in the front seat with Ralph. Ralph is driving along, like this, you know. Look at me. I mean, he's right there. He can touch him. He's sitting down like a big old Dalmatian dog on his haunches, you know. He's licking the windshield, and he's nickering to Mama, and you know. And Ralph, Ralph's eyes were about that big. I've seen some funny things horseback, but that's the funniest thing I ever saw in my life was that scene. And I didn't have a camera. I was too busy cowboying, and I didn't even take a camera. But anyway, so then Mama sees the colt in the Suburban, and she has a tantrum, and she attacks the Suburban. Both ears back, and boy, she charges the Suburban. So Ralph slams on the brake. He sees her coming, and he starts honking to turn her back. What that does is buzz the leaders up, and they're trying to run over me. You know, I'm up in the lead trying to hold these leaders back. And got real Western there for a little while. It was kind of a scene, you know. But finally, so the mare, Ralph, was stopped and honking. She runs up, wheels around, and kicked the grill out of that Suburban with both hind legs. Just destroyed that grill. And I was so proud of her for doing that. I had that Suburban for several years after that, and I never replaced the grill because I always loved the fact of what she had done, you know. But anyway, I finally got control of the leaders, and we go on over to Mud Lake, and we get to Mud Lake, and so Ralph pulls in, and I get off and open the door, and the colt tumbles out, and he gets up, and Mama's about where that chair is over there. So he goes over there, gets a little nip of milk, and she licks him, and she looked up at me. Never forget that look. It said, "Don't you ever ask to babysit my baby ever again." So anyway, that was something.